What if I told you that your success, your dreams, your future, everything you ever wanted, is not waiting for you in a moment of motivation, but in the quiet, painful repetition of doing the hard things when you don't feel like it? Discipline is not glamorous. It's not loud. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't show up with fireworks or applause. It wakes you up early when your body begs for sleep. It makes you push forward when your mind screams to quit. It chooses growth over comfort every single time. The world tells you to chase motivation, to find inspiration, to wait for the perfect moment. But what if that moment never comes? What if the only way to win is to move anyway? Tired, scared, uncertain, but disciplined. The truth is, motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the spark dies out. Discipline shows up when nobody's watching. It trains in silence. It sacrifices the short-term highs for long-term greatness. It doesn't care how you feel. It only cares about who you want to become. Every champion you admire, every successful person you look up to, every legend you quote, they didn't win because they were always motivated. They won because they were disciplined. Because when others gave up, they showed up. Again, and again, and again. Discipline isn't a punishment, it's a promise. A promise you make to your future self that you won't quit. That you'll do what it takes, no matter what it costs. This is your wake-up call. If you want to change your life, if you're tired of being stuck, if you're ready to unlock your full potential, then stop waiting for motivation. Start building discipline. Because discipline, not motivation, is what builds empires, forges warriors, and turns ordinary people into legends. Success doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the disciplined. In a world where everyone is looking for shortcuts, hacks, and instant gratification, discipline stands tall as the silent force that separates the dreamers from the doers. Discipline is the bridge between who you are today and who you are meant to become. It is the invisible armor worn by those who refuse to let excuses define their destiny. Ask yourself this: how many times have you waited for the right moment? How often have you said, "I'll start tomorrow," and how many times has tomorrow never come? That's where most people live, in the cycle of waiting. Waiting for motivation, for inspiration, for the perfect time. But champions, leaders, and achievers? They don't wait. They act. They move. They grind. They fail. And they rise again, not because they feel like it, but because their discipline leaves no other option. Discipline is the reason someone wakes up at 5 a.m. to train, while the rest of the world sleeps. It's the reason someone studies late into the night, while their friends are out partying. It's why someone keeps going after hearing "no" 1,000 times, because their mission is greater than their emotions. And here's the truth no one wants to hear: you won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel strong. Some days, you'll want to give up. Some days, you'll feel like nothing is working. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. It's not based on emotions. It's based on decisions. Every single day, you're making a choice. A choice to rise or remain. To take action or stay comfortable. To build or to break. And those tiny choices? They become your habits. Those habits become your character. And your character becomes your destiny. If you want to transform your life, start with discipline. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Because motivation might get you started, but only discipline will keep you going when everything around you is falling apart. This is the power of discipline. It's not a tool, it's a way of life. Antonio was a poor bricklayer in a small village in Brazil. Every morning, before the sun even peeked over the hills, he would wake up, grab his worn-out gloves, and head out to a dusty construction site. His job? Laid bricks, one by one, for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. He wasn't educated. He didn't come from wealth. He didn't have any connections. The only thing Antonio had was discipline. While others around him drank their paychecks away, Antonio saved. While others slept in on weekends, Antonio worked on side projects, learning how to mix concrete better, how to measure accurately, how to manage small teams. He didn't complain. He didn't expect overnight success. He just showed up, every single day, rain or shine. People laughed at him when he said he wanted to open his own construction company. "You're just a worker," they mocked. "You don't even know English." But Antonio didn't argue. He let his discipline do the talking. For 10 years, he laid bricks. Quietly, consistently, patiently. Then, one day, a small opportunity came his way. A man in the city needed a house built on a tight budget. No big companies would take it. But Antonio did. He put every ounce of his skill, effort, and soul into that house. He worked like it was a palace. When it was done, the client was blown away. Word spread. More clients came. Within 5 years, Antonio went from laying bricks to leading one of the most respected construction companies in his state. He now employs over 200 workers, many of whom were once like him, underdogs, underestimated, and overlooked. Today, he teaches them one golden rule. Discipline builds what talent only dreams of. Antonio's story isn't about luck or genius. It's about the power of showing up, especially when no one's watching, especially when it's hard. He didn't wait for the perfect moment. He built it, one brick at a time. Mark had never been athletic. In fact, he hated running. He would get winded after just a mile and quit. But everything changed one morning when he watched the New York City Marathon on TV. The runners were crossing the finish line, exhausted, covered in sweat, but their faces were filled with a sense of pride and accomplishment. "I could never do that," Mark thought. But deep down, something ignited within him, a fire he hadn't felt before. He set a goal, to run the New York City Marathon. But here's the catch. He was 30 pounds overweight and had never run more than a mile in his life. Mark started small. His first run was brutal. He could barely run for 5 minutes without stopping. But every day, no matter how tired or sore he felt, he kept at it. He gradually increased his distance. He ran early in the morning, when everyone else was still asleep. On weekends, when his friends were partying, he was out running through the rain or snow. There were moments of doubt, when the pain was overwhelming, when his body screamed to stop. But discipline was his anchor. It didn't matter how slow he was, or how many setbacks he faced. He had one rule: never quit. A year later, Mark lined up at the start of the New York City Marathon. He wasn't aiming to win. He wasn't aiming to break records. He was aiming to finish. As he crossed the finish line, tears streamed down his face. Not because he was exhausted, but because he had done it. He had transformed his life through discipline. And in that moment, he realized, discipline doesn't just make you a better athlete. It makes you a better person. Mark's journey was a testament to the power of small, consistent actions. And that's the beauty of discipline. It may start with small steps, but it leads to extraordinary results. Carmen was a single mother, working 2 minimum-wage jobs to make ends meet. Every morning, she'd wake up at 5 a.m. to get her kids ready for school. Then, she'd work at a diner for 8 hours before heading to her second job as a cleaning lady in the evenings. Life was tough, and there were days when she felt like giving up. But Carmen had one thing that nobody could take from her: discipline. One evening, after cleaning a rich family's house, Carmen noticed their beautifully arranged home and the business they owned. Something clicked inside her. She realized she didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. She wanted more. She wanted to build something for her kids, something that would break the cycle of poverty. But how? She didn't have money, a degree, or a network of connections. What she had was discipline, and that was enough. Carmen started small. She read books at night while her children slept. She watched YouTube videos on how to start a business. Slowly, she saved up enough money to start a small online business selling handmade jewelry. At first, it was hard. She'd work on her business late into the night after finishing her cleaning job. She'd have to deal with rejections, slow sales, and doubts from people around her. But every day, she disciplined herself to take consistent action. She learned about marketing, improved her designs, and reached out to potential clients. Slowly but surely, her business grew. Carmen hired a few people to help, and eventually, she was able to quit both of her jobs. Today, she owns a successful jewelry business and is financially independent. She no longer has to worry about bills or food, and most importantly, her children now have the opportunity to dream bigger. Carmen's story is a powerful reminder that discipline is the true key to unlocking freedom. She didn't wait for someone to give her a chance. She created her own. Emily dreamed of becoming a published author. She would spend hours every day writing short stories and novels, but no one seemed to care. She faced rejection after rejection from publishers, and some days, she couldn't help but feel defeated. But Emily had something that most people didn't: discipline. While others complained about the lack of success, Emily kept writing. Every day. Whether she felt inspired or not, whether the words came easily or painfully, she showed up. Her friends would tell her to give up, to focus on something more practical. But Emily knew that discipline was the key to reaching her goal. She wrote at night after her day job, often staying up until 3 a.m. to get in a few more words. Over time, her skills improved. She learned how to handle criticism, and she kept improving her craft. Years went by, but Emily never wavered. She wasn't writing for the accolades or fame. She was writing because it was in her soul, and discipline kept her going. Eventually, Emily received a call from a publishing house that had seen her work online. They wanted to publish her novel. The book became a bestseller, and Emily went on to write several more successful novels. Her success didn't come from talent alone. It came from the discipline to keep going when the world didn't notice. It came from showing up every day, even when it felt like no one was listening. David had always dreamed of opening a restaurant. He was passionate about cooking, and he had the skills to create incredible dishes. So, after years of saving up and planning, he opened his own restaurant in a small town. But within 6 months, his dream began to crumble. The restaurant was losing money. Customers weren't coming in. David tried everything, changing the menu, advertising, offering discounts, but nothing worked. One night, as he sat alone in his empty restaurant, he felt like giving up. But then, he remembered a lesson his father had taught him. The only way to fail is to quit. David refused to give up. Instead, he decided to reframe his mindset. He didn't view his current situation as failure. He viewed it as a challenge. He realized that what he needed was discipline, the discipline to work harder, smarter, and more creatively. He spent months researching successful restaurant models, revamping the menu, and even learning about customer service. He hired a mentor to guide him through the process. Every day, David disciplined himself to improve, not just his restaurant, but his leadership and management skills. Finally, after a year of intense work, David's restaurant began to thrive. The locals started coming in regularly, word of mouth spread, and soon, his restaurant became the most popular in town. David's story is a testament to the power of resilience and discipline. When failure seemed inevitable, he chose to rise above it, and his discipline led him to triumph. As we come to the end of this journey through the power of discipline, let's pause for a moment and reflect on what we've learned. The stories we've shared today, the bricklayer who built an empire, the runner who surpassed his limits, the single mother who created a business from scratch, the writer who wrote every day, and the man who turned failure into triumph, they all have one thing in common: discipline. It wasn't luck that led them to their success. It wasn't a single burst of motivation that propelled them forward. No, it was discipline, the quiet, unwavering commitment to showing up, even when the path was hard, even when the world doubted them, even when their own minds told them to quit. You see, discipline is the foundation of every great achievement. It's the daily commitment to do the things that need to be done, whether we feel like it or not. It's the strength to push through the discomfort, the willpower to continue when all you want to do is give up. And the beauty of discipline is that it doesn't require perfection. You don't have to get it right every time. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep going. Every small, consistent action you take today builds the person you will become tomorrow. And when you look back, it won't be the days of motivation that made the biggest difference. It will be the days when you showed up anyway. The days when you kept going, even when it felt like no one was watching. Those are the days that truly matter. The path to success, fulfillment, and greatness isn't always glamorous. There will be times when you want to quit. There will be moments of doubt, of exhaustion, and frustration. But remember this: discipline is your secret weapon. It's what will push you forward when the world tells you to stop. It's what will help you rise, even after you've fallen. And it's what will allow you to create a life that you can be proud of. So, I want to leave you with this. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for the right moment. Start now. Build discipline. Because in the end, it's not the circumstances that shape your life, it's your discipline. Your dreams are not out of reach. They are waiting for you to build them. And the tools you need to do that are already inside you. It's time to tap into them. It's time to take action every day, no matter how small, and make discipline your ally. Start today. Show up. Keep going. And remember, the power of discipline will never let you down.